All right. First off, welcome. Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
having me. I'm excited to be on your show.
Of course, no problem at all. Like I said before, I know I said this like 2 seconds ago, but I'm just saying for the cameras, you were requested like a lot, so this is awesome to have you here. Um, Definitely, I've been listening to a lot of GFM a lot in the past, and
Mhm.
I saw your name pop up, and I'm gonna pronunciate your name. Hopefully, I'm not incorrect. Is it Magdalene Rose? Am I right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank God. But I saw your name pop up, and for some reason, two and two never clicked together. So I was listening to your music, and then GFM, and I'm like talking to my one buddy Kevin, and he's like, "Oh, they're like the same group, like same people." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, so I was in GFM and in 2022 we kind of put the band on like an indefinite hiatus. We felt like we were all being called to different places and we felt like GFM was not where we needed to be at that moment in our life. And so I attempted to do a solo artist thing. I had no idea how to even do that. I never even really wanted to be a solo artist, but I knew I still was supposed to do music. And so, this was my way of attempting to do that. And it's been going really great. It's been awesome. And Magdalene Rose is just my real name. And so like that's the only difference. Everybody knows me as Maggie, but Maggie stands for Magdalene. So
Yeah, I think the new music is great. I like the solo stuff. But GFM, it was actually kind of funny that we all bring that up here because I was talking to this one band called Advent. I'm not sure if you heard of them. They're from the New Jersey, New York area.
okay.
But the drummer, I'm gonna hopefully say this right. I believe it was the drummer went on tour with you guys in a different band with Fozzy.
Oh my goodness. Wait, was the drummer's name Parker?
I it's either Joe or Spiz. I'm not too
Oh
completely
wait,
sure.
that's right. He might have did he play for a band called Nocturnal Affair?
He didn't tell me the name of the band, unfortunately,
I wonder if
but
that's who that was. Because we went on tour with them twice with Fozzy, and they had a different drummer each time. So I wonder if that's the band that he was on in whenever he was on tour with us. That's so funny.
I found that like really crazy because I was talking to them. They're like a rising band, and I'm like, I got a big interview coming up with you, of course. And then I said, "Do you know who GFM is?" The guy's like, "GFM, GFM's like, yeah, I toured with them." I was like, "Wait, really?"
That's so funny. It's crazy, like, especially when you start to be really involved with like the music world and start like talking to people, like you're doing like interviewing people and stuff. It's crazy how much people are just everybody knows each other in some weird way.
Yeah. I definitely do agree with that. Um, but I got six questions written down. I'll come up with some more as we go. Some of these questions are asked from my friend, so he wanted me to ask you some things.
Okay.
The first question I have for you is what inspired you to go solo after GFM? I feel like you answered that a little bit, but if there's like any,
Yeah. So I definitely took a lot of time after announcing that, GFM was going to be on kind of a break and that I was going to be doing a solo artist thing. It took a second for me to make music and like release music under that because I said it and I felt like I definitely wanted to still do music. I still felt called to it, but I didn't know what that would even look like because I had never done it without my sisters or without my family. And um, I just knew that music helps people and it had helped me in my past get over lots of issues. And if I was able to do that with GFM, then I wanted to continue to be able to do that some way because I wanted to continue to help people. And so I think that helped push me because, what I was going through, I was grieving a lot because I lost what I thought I would be doing for the rest of my life. And so I was like, well, there has to be somebody else out there who has experienced something like that. So if I can write music and help them have some sort of, hand to hold walking through the same situation, then like I want to do it because I'll at least be able to help one person.
yeah,
And I think that's just kind of been an underlying motivation behind why I do music because I know it helps people and I want to be able to add to that.
yeah. No, I agree with that for sure. I know coming up soon locally, November 10th, you're going to be somewhat kind of close to where I'm at. It's a I'm debating it. All right, I'm debating on heading over to the concert. I think you're with Seventh Day Slumber.
Yeah.
It's a 3.5 hour drive,
Oh my
and
goodness.
it's like okay, so I would have no issue going, but you're so like it's so far away, so like I'm just playing rocks, paper, scissors to figure out if I want to go to that. But no, as far as your music goes, I just went off track there, my fault. But as far as your music goes, I definitely can see the helping message. I believe your recent song Tea Theater was talking about anorexia, am I correct?
Yeah.
So I think that also brings me to another question I have. This later in the questions, I'm going a little out of sync, but what was the inspiration behind Tea Theater, if you don't mind explaining?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I was struggling with really bad with anorexia and I didn't really understand how severe like the actual problem of anorexia was, and I didn't understand how far in that I was also struggling with it. And my dad helped pull me out of it. He pulled me aside one day and just actually had a real conversation with me about it. And he's like, hey, I know we've talked about, we know that you need to eat more, but like this is a serious problem because I see you getting sick and I see your body shutting down and I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to die. And so we had like an actual conversation about like what eating disorders even are. And he helped me understand that there was a problem there.
Hmm.
And, he walked by me as I healed and helped me understand how to have a healthy relationship with food and not obsess over it, not make it such um, an identifying factor in my life because your worth isn't tied to a number on a scale.
Yeah.
And um, I'm a Christian as well, and so thankfully I was able to invite God into that healing moment for me, and I think that helped a ton too, because for a while I was still caught up in what I would look like. And it was really hard at first recovering through that because you're kind of doing the opposite of what your brain is telling you. And you're seeing yourself gain weight and it's so you can live, and um and it's hard for your brain to understand that at first because you've been telling yourself the complete opposite for so long.
Hmm.
And so now that I'm fully recovered from it, I wanted to put something out there for people who are in the middle of struggling with it or in the middle of recovering. Because I had seen a lot of people talking online about being in the middle of an eating disorder, feeling stuck, but not knowing where to go. And, because I had gone through it, I was like, well, I know where to go now. And so if I can, I want to be that person for other people. My dad was awesome and stepping up and helping me. And so why would I not share that same advice to other people? And we wanted to call it tea theater because when you have an eating disorder, a lot of times your body will start to eat itself because you're not giving it nutrients, and your teeth are usually some of the first things to go. They rot from the inside out and stuff, and so essentially your body is becoming a teeth eater. And we thought it was not just like it was a cool word, but it was also a cool way to open up the conversation and let people know that they're not alone and that they don't have to isolate themselves with this problem anymore. And just because it makes people feel weird doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
um and I think that's helping empower a lot of people, helping them feel like they have a voice and they don't have to be quiet about their problems anymore. When you invite community into your problems, that's where healing really happens because people can hold you accountable and they can walk alongside you and you're not alone anymore.
Yeah. No, I think that's very well said, 100%. And that's the thing I like a lot with music, right? You have that aspect of you have people who just make music to mess around. And then you have like the actual real stuff. I've heard a lot of songs about mental health and things like that. I feel like it's way more common nowadays, which is good. I feel like it spreads the word a lot more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a singer. I cannot sing to save my life. Like if you have glass windows in your house, they will be eliminated by the time I'm done. However, I do have a good lyric writing system. Like I'm good at writing lyrics. Not that I
Hmm.
write for anybody particularly. I'm a DJ, but um a lot of the times when I've written music, I don't really write about just like random stuff going on. I just write about like things that bother me or like a
Yeah.
mindset of something that I'm going through. So, and even though I don't release anything, it's definitely down the line. I'd maybe want to do one or two songs and see
Hmm.
what I can do just to give people some sort of I'm blanking on the word. Just like a positive reinforcing feeling, I think I
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah.
So I definitely do. I respect that song a lot. That was actually the song I figured out you were in GFM because I got requested it and I have all the music, so I'm like, okay. And my buddy's like, oh, she's in GFM. I'm like, oh, she is? 'Cause he's the one who hooked me up with all of the music from that band. I call it GFM because I have a hard time pronunciating it. I think I've called it Gold Frankenslice Myth at one point or something. Or
Yeah, GFM is way easier to say than the full thing.
yeah, definitely for sure. So the next question I have for you here is what inspired you to become a tattoo artist?
Um, so I've always been drawn to like art in a way, but I never felt like I was a good artist. I always had to have some sort of reference picture. I couldn't really draw anything like off the top of my head. And I had started getting tattoos when I was 16 because in Florida you're allowed to get them with parents consent if you're 16, and my parents all had tattoos, and so they were like, yeah, that's cool. Um and I just loved the way that the artwork looked on people's skin. And I just got married in April to the guy who plays drums for me. And his dad used to tattoo people, and then he took a break from it. And we asked him if he would tattoo our fingers when we got married. And we're like, if you never tattoo ever again, like it's fine, but can you at least, give us ring finger tattoos? We think that would be really cool and special if you were the one to do it. And that kind of inspired him to like start again. And he wanted to be able to do a good ring tattoo finger for us, and so he was practicing it, and he kind of like fell back in love with tattooing, and he started tattooing other people to practice. And now he's like taking on all these clients and stuff. He has an actual business again, which is super cool. um but seeing him do it, and I was like, hey, do you think I could try? And he was like, you want to try? Sure. And I was like, oh, I didn't think you were gonna say yes. And so I got a I kind of jumped into it way quicker than I thought I would even be able to. And it's easy for me because if I have a stencil, like you're just coloring in the lines at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really fun. And so my father-in-law, he's the one who's teaching me. I'm still technically apprenticing under him. Um, but yeah, he's teaching me, and I've been able to tattoo a few people now, which is really cool. I'm still very limited on what I can do until like I get promoted to each different, tattoo style and size of tattoos and stuff. But I just love the artwork of it. And now that I'm tattooing people and not just the fake silicone skin and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm able to have like conversations with people while we're tattooing them. And I think that's always cool just to hear why people are getting the tattoos that they're getting, if they have a meaning or if they just think it's really cool or they're just doing something fun with their friends. It's always cool to just see why people are doing what they're doing. So it's kind of the art behind it, but it's also just like the community behind it too.
Yeah, I think I would be a bad client for that because I've got a bunch of tattoos, one, two, three. I know you said you were a Christian, so I got a cross here
That's awesome.
and Steelers. I like football. So the thing is though, when I get tattoos, like it'll hurt, I guess, but like
Mhm.
I'm just like laser focused on like what's in front of me. If it's a mirror, I'm focusing on the mirror.
Yeah.
Like when they try to talk to me, I'm just in my own like head.
Oh yeah, I do the same thing. I'm sure when people, unless like someone like doesn't like talking to people, maybe they really like me, but most of the time I'm just like the same thing, laser focused, or like I'm on my phone and not really paying attention because I'm just gonna send myself away and not focus on anything that's happening.
Yeah, same thing with haircuts for me too. Like the barber I go to, I've known him for my entire life and he'll cut my hair, whatever. He'll try like talking to me. I'm just so focused on like the mirror. I'm so focused on seeing if he screwed something up or not. So
Yeah. I feel like with haircuts, I'm just focused on trying not to fall asleep because they put
mm.
me to sleep every time.
That was definitely like me at the dentist. I always fell asleep. It put the stupid laughing gas on me. Next minute later, I'm out like a light. Um, but yeah, so next question I had for you is what are your plans in the future with music, preferably your solo project?
Yeah, I'm hoping that, as the years go by, we just continue to grow more and more. We've been touring pretty heavily since 2023. We did like almost 200 shows, I think, in 2023, and we're already in, I think, the hundreds this year in 2024. And so we're hoping to just continue to get bigger tours. Yeah. I do kind of the crossover thing, so I can play Christian shows and general market shows, which is really fun. So I'm hoping to get on some more general market tours as well, because I haven't done that in a hot minute. Just we've been doing kind of the Christian market, and I love doing both. So I really hope to be able to do like the big tours, and I really want to be on the festival circuits. I think that would be so fun to do all of those festivals. And international touring is a really big bucket list for me because with GFM, we got to go to Germany a few times, but with my solo artist project thing, I really want to be able to go to so many other countries. Like Germany is a big one, but I also really want to go to Japan and Australia and the UK and like all of these different countries. So I think touring is the biggest thing. Like big tours and international tours right now are like our very big priority for the future.
Yeah, I think you're growing at a very good pace. Like I've seen some of the interactions. Like when I was looking into interviewing you, I was just scrolling through some things. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of likes. Wow, that's a lot of likes. I'm like, all right, let's go to Spotify streams. And I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was a big number. So, definitely you're more of a celebrity than I am for sure. But no, yeah, I think in due time you'll get there for sure.
Mhm.
If you want, come down to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. That's what I've been promoting that to this other band, Advents. They're growing huge. I'm trying to get like all the artists over there since it's somewhat kind of local,
Yeah,
and it's like it's a big stadium. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but it's a huge stadium.
that'd be super cool. I don't think I've ever played a stadium show before, so that's definitely also on the bucket list.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of places in Jersey that are good, but they're all like the size of my room, the venue. So. I don't want to like walk in there, go see a band, especially like since you're a popular artist, I would say so. The place would be packed. Walking to the bathroom, I would have to get like carried up and over just
You
to
crowd
walk
surf
in.
to the bathroom.
Yeah, I forgot what that was called for a second. But no, yeah, I think that's good. As far as like music goes, like new releases, do you have any in the works?
Yeah, we have an album completely written, and it's just we have a few songs that still need to be mixed and mastered, and then it'll be completely ready to start packaging it up. And so we're already working on artwork. We're already working on trying to figure out release dates. I know the my team has talked about wanting to release at least one more single before the whole album comes out. And so we're hoping early next year we're able to start pushing album music, but we're kind of waiting to see what they want to do when it comes to like singles before. But there's a lot of new music on the way, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of artists doing singles a lot. I feel like singles are hitting very well, a lot more than like EPs and albums altogether. Because I've seen like let's just say song one, two, and three comes out, then they'll just shove it in an EP right after that.
Yeah, it's people's attention spans are so short now.
TikTok.
So singles help because it's you're putting something new in front of people more often, and then it's always the dreaded message you get the day after you release your album. Hey, when's new music coming out? It's like I just released 12 songs. What are you talking about? I can't put new music out to like the next day. So I think having singles helps kind of with that mindset of they're like, okay, we've been getting new music, so now we have a whole album, so let's listen to that before asking for new music.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think people's attention spans in 2024 are just it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same way I was when I first got like TikTok. I think that's the biggest culprit to
Yeah.
attention spans. I first got I'd like watch every video all the way through and now I'm just like swipe, 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 swipe.
Yeah. It's like not
I'm like,
interested.
this is interesting. 60 seconds though. All right, I'll watch the first 10 next.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot. And I don't know. It's like I can't say it's a good thing because
Yeah.
attention spans dipping off is just not good. It's definitely for the youth. Like I have a niece and a nephew, and their attention span is horrible. Like they want to watch a movie, they'll come in the room, they'll watch it for 5 minutes, and then I blink and they're downstairs eating popcorn and
Yeah.
outside playing like football. I'm like, what the hell, man? You
It's
know?
like, where did they go?
Yeah, that's definitely a bad thing, but I guess it's just the way the world's going. But I have like this thing, right? So with technology, it's a blessing, I think, and a curse in disguise, right? I sound like
Yeah.
I'm 65 years old here. I'm 21, but I think it's good because like in situations like this, right? I can get on here very quickly, interview. I don't have to fly out to Nashville or something to interview you.
Hmm.
But then on like the other end of the field, I feel like it kind of like just like separates society too much and keeps us like all in our own bubble.
Yeah.
So
Especially with like when COVID happened and everything, I think that it helped in a lot of ways like this, where people can still work and do interviews and keep up with people that they weren't allowed to fly and go see. But at the same time, now a lot of people are just, they want to stay home. They can order food online. They can watch their favorite movies online. They can shop online. So nobody wants to leave their house anymore. And so, yeah, there's an issue when it comes to community at that point because people, even when they finally do go out, are glued to their phones a lot. And so it does definitely take a toll on what it means to even have like community now. And it's very weird.
yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like I can sit here and slander it all I want, but at the end of the day, I'm hypocritical in my own senses.
I'm
Like,
still gonna be on my phone.
yeah, like if I'm eating by myself, not with the family, not with my friends, it's to my room, YouTube opened up, like
Yeah.
music on or something. Like I have to just watch something. I'm turning into like one of the iPad kids. But nah, yeah, though I definitely have feelings on that. And believe it or not, I am 21. I look 27, but I've been told that so many times, but then when I have to like go because my mom smokes cigarettes, when I have to go get her cigarettes every time I get ID'd.
Oh my goodness.
Every single time. And then like on Saturday I got ID'd, forgot my ID, had to go all the way back home, all the way back there. It was it was a mess.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I'm kind of breaking off the questions here. So my next question is, what was it like starting a band with your sisters?
Um, it honestly wasn't like this huge crazy thing because we started it when we were really young. And so it was just like, oh, dad says we should do a cover band. That would probably be cool. We'll give it a try. And we all had kind of been learning different instruments at that point. And so it just kind of made sense. We all were our best friends. And so we're just like, we're just hanging out and playing music. That's pretty cool. And I think then when we started to play shows, I think our first show was when I was 11. And it was still just like, oh, this is just me hanging out with my sisters. This is cool. And now there's extra people involved. Like it's a little scary, but it's still cool. And we just kind of grew up doing it. And so it wasn't anything that was like crazy to us because that's all we ever knew. But looking back, it's like, wow, that is a little strange. A lot of people they don't get along with their siblings that well and
Yeah.
and people that would come to our shows they're like I don't know how you do it because I could not work with my sister, I could not work with my brother. And it very much was just we all were best friends and it was just us hanging out together. And our parents were involved and so that was really fun. Our parents got to travel, we got to go to different states together. And it really was just all of us hanging out.
Yeah, if I started a band with my brothers, it would not end well after two practices. Things would be flying across the room. They're older than me, but nah, no, it just would not work. My brother was trying to learn guitar a while ago. I don't know how good he was at it, but he wanted me to learn it, and then I was like, sure, and then I was like, no, and then yes, and then I still haven't learned it. I learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but that might get me somewhere down the line for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
But I yeah, I think that's really cool though. You said you started when you were 11 with
That was our
two.
our very first show, yeah, when we started playing shows together.
How long you been in music for?
I started playing piano when I was 5. Our parents kind of put us into lessons and they told us if we hated it, we could quit, but they wanted us to at least try something out. That way, they always encourage us to try new things. And so I played piano from 5 until I was like 8. And then when I was 8, I picked up the bass guitar because my sister played guitar and my little sister played drums. And so my dad was like, well, if we're gonna play these rock songs, you have to have a bass player. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And so we went and got a bass, and it was so big on my little 8-year-old body. And I still was kind of playing piano and bass at the same time. But then when we started really playing shows, I kind of fully transitioned into just being a bass player. So I miss playing piano, and I want to pick it back up because I feel like that muscle memory will somewhat be there still. I feel like there's going to be a lot of like relearning I would have to do, but I would love to pick it back up one day. But yeah, I've been doing it almost my whole life.
That's crazy. I did I played clarinet for a couple of months and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on a guitar, and that's about it. I mean, I've experimented with like beat creation and stuff like
Mhm,
that, but instrumentally, I don't know. I feel like I can learn an instrument if I actually put my time and energy into it and
mhm.
money because they're not cheap,
Yeah.
especially the lessons. Like that's definitely the thing. I don't know. It's so weird because like I have this like thing I want to do like vocals, but at the
Mm,
same time I don't want to like because I'm not looking to do like singing. I'm looking to scream into a mic
yeah.
like a Cannibal Corpse thing or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a lot of confusion. Maybe one day I'll commit to that. For now, I just do the DJing thing. And actually, a little fun fact: this is like my station. I run the whole thing, so
That's awesome.
I have a bunch of DJs as well. So it's not like just me.
Yeah, that's
But
super cool.
thank you. I appreciate it. And it's also like I get told this all the time. I'm like the youngest DJ anybody's ever seen, and I'm like I'm 21. I'm not that young. But then when I actually looked back on it once I started this station up, everybody's in like their 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm like, wow, this scene is a lot older than I thought it would be.
Yeah, which I think that's why it's so cool that you are like not just DJing your own show, but you have your own show because it is very cool just to have people that are like my age also doing like the radio thing as well. And so like they understand where I'm coming from with like social media and stuff like that because sometimes the older guys or older women that are having radio shows or own their own like blogs and stuff, they don't always understand because they are from different generations. So they're kind of having to learn what just comes naturally to us because we were born into a generation of technology.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool when people are my age or at least close to my age because it's like, oh, well, I understand you on a different wavelength right now because we grew up the same way.
No, yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I think that definitely also plays a huge part into why I've also grown at the same time, right? Like
Hmm.
I see, I'm not calling out any stations, but I see a lot of stations just run the same like rinse and repeat
Yeah.
promotion, right? So, like because they're older people, obviously. But then you have me, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever they call it nowadays.
Yeah.
Facebook's definitely the big place. That's where everybody knows us from as
Hmm.
far as social media following. But there's just a way I know how to like work with people and promote and do stuff like that. And we've exploded. I've only been up for 7 months
Oh,
on
wow.
Vibe Tunes. I've been DJing for a year and 3 or 4 months, so
Hmm.
I'm not that deep into it. But what is Zoom? I hate Zoom. I got 10 minutes, so hopefully I can not yap too much. I do have one more question though, so we are at the bottom of this. The last question I have for you is what's the rest of the 2024 roadmap looking like?
So we are about to do this big Christian rock tour. I'm opening for Seventh Day Slumber and Disciple. So that's going to go October 11th all the way until November 24th. And then we're going to take the holiday season off. And then we're thinking about maybe doing some shows in December before Christmas as well, just to, get back out there before completely taking the rest of the year off. But yeah, lots of shows, trying to figure out when we can have more release dates because the songs are there. So I think once we get off the road, it's a lot of just planning and preparing for next year and getting all of the promotion stuff ready because we're very excited. We've got a lot of big ideas for how we're going to do like album promotion and like having it be more of like a boots on the ground type thing, or we're getting people involved and having it almost be like a scavenger hunt type thing. And so I think having the time off of touring will help us solidify those plans a little bit more. I want to do a lot of like live stream stuff too during the holiday season. Because I always think it's fun to do that with not just my fans, but other artists I listen to when they do live streams. I think it's always fun, especially around the holiday season, because you can do like themed stuff. And I always think it's fun to do like my version of an SNL skit type thing, especially around holiday season. So I'm trying to figure out how to do all of this when we're on tour, when we're off tour. But yeah, lots of touring, lots of streaming, hopefully, and then lots of promotion and behind the scenes planning for 2025.
Awesome. Hey, I really do appreciate you coming on here today. Thank you very much. As far as your music goes, it's amazing. I love it. Keep it up.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
no problem. But I do have to ask if you have anything to say to let everybody know about you, about your music, anything, the floor is completely yours.
Yeah, I am on all social media sites. You can find me at official Magdalene Rose, and my website is official Magdalene Rose. Everything is linked everywhere on all of them. So if you find one, you'll find all of them. You can stream all of my music on any digital download streaming sites. So like your Spotify, your Apple Music, your YouTube Music, your Tidal, your Deezer. If you use a crazy one, it's probably on there. We're even on Pandora at this point. So we're we're on every site that you can think of. And if you ever need anybody to talk to, my DMs are always open. And even if it's just that you need a friend, I'm here. That's why I do music. And I hope you guys will reach out to me and we can hang out online somewhere.
Awesome. Thank you again for your time. Appreciate that for sure. You have a good rest of your day, all right?
You too. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Have a good day.